Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer setting up my microphone. I'll be with you in less than a minute for our 7:15 live weather broadcast, or streamcast, or whatever you want to call it. I guess it's a little bit different than what we used to call broadcasting. But everything changes, sometimes for the better, sometimes not. Okay, still 7:14 on my clock. I don't have seconds to count on this. I got to turn on Roku and all the other ones there. Okay, we should be going out now to every single platform. Hi, this is Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer, and we are about to start the live 7:15 weather show. So let's take a look at this. Well, the reason we show this, those of you that aren't in Cincinnati or looking from far afield, we're looking at the Taylor-Southgate Bridge. Now remember, Interstate 471, that's the bridge that was partially melted by that fire, and the southbound lanes of that are closed. And so one of the alternates here is the Taylor-Southgate Bridge, and it almost never has that much traffic on it. At least it's moving. It's not bumper to bumper, but earlier it was. And so you still may be waiting, if you're in northern Kentucky, for somebody to come home, and it's a little slow going over the Taylor-Southgate Bridge out there. So let's go ahead and take a look at at 43 degrees, and that temperature's been holding for about 4 hours now. And if we take a wide look, or I should say a telephoto look from our tower camera up in South Fairmont, this is the Brent Spence Bridge. The traffic on the upper deck heading into Kentucky, traffic on the lower deck heading north into Ohio, and all that is moving along just fine. So for those of you that may be out there waiting for your loved ones to come home, if they're taking the Brent Spence Bridge, things are looking pretty good, but heading south into Kentucky on the other bridges is kind of slow, and it will be for a little while yet. And it's going to be a while before they get that bridge up and moving once again. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some snowfall totals that we got yesterday. The highest one that we saw was 2.7 inches in Mac, Ohio. That's on the west side. Villa Hills, Kentucky at 2.3, along with Mason and Lebanon. Wilmington, Ohio got 2.1, and so there's some pretty good snow amounts there, although remember, most of that melted quickly just after it fell and hit the ground. Okay, here are a few more. At CVG, the snowfall was officially 2 inches. That's a record amount of snow falling on yesterday's date, on the 21st of November. Blue Ash, 1.8. Greendale, 1.4. Bright, Indiana, 1.3 inches. All right, now if we take a look at the current temperatures, at 7 p.m. temperatures in the 40s around the tri-state. They've been just like that for hours and hours and hours, and it will only fall off another degree or two, if that, overnight. Wind chills about 5 to anywhere to as cold as 10 degrees colder than the temperature, so it really depends upon where you are and what your exposure to the wind is. And so what we're looking at here is we're looking at a pretty chilly evening. You're not used to it yet. For the first time today, I was walking some of our dogs, and this morning I put long johns on. I've got kind of skinny legs, and they're old legs, so I get colder easier. So overall, again, it's pretty chilly around the tri-state. So again, those wind chills in the 30s. Not as cold as yesterday, but still in the 30s. Okay, now most of the shower activity that was to the east of Cincinnati there, you see, is gone. There's still maybe a little bit of drizzle, a few sprinkles, and we have a few more sprinkles that may move in from the west. You see them that are south of Indianapolis. If those hold together, they'll track over southern Ripley County on into Owen County and probably Grant counties. And there's more out there. We just can't see them on radar. So a few sprinkles, a little bit of drizzle through the evening, overnight, everything does dry out. So the sun set at 5:20, so it's been down for just shy of 2 hours. We are looking at temperatures dropping only a degree by 11 p.m., so down one more. Now we go to a longer-term model, and the reason I'm switching to this is because there's not much going on over the weekend. Mostly cloudy on Saturday, mostly to partly cloudy on Sunday, morning lows in the 30s, afternoon highs, upper 40s Saturday, mid-50s on Sunday. So things are looking much better. We make it to Monday, which is showing up here, and we've got a few showers in the forecast in the afternoon and evening, and temperatures in the 60s. Now watch what happens here. You can see that activity grows, becomes pretty widespread for Monday evening, and so we've got another, and this one will be all rain. We've got another rain event which will help recharge that soil, fill up those farm ponds. That's it for a while. And then, wouldn't you know it, right here, Thanksgiving morning at 7:40 a.m., this particular model says a mix of rain and snow in the tri-state, okay? Now, temperature, it should be, if this would come true, it would be a similar situation to what we had yesterday. Roads still warm, air not at freezing, and so it would be kind of wet and slushy. A couple of the longer term models shift everything south a little bit so it's colder and there would be more snow in here than rain. A couple of the models shifted further north and it's almost all rain. So right now our best bet is to let you know that we may be talking about a little bit of slow going as we head on into Thanksgiving. It does not look like there's any big system anywhere in the region. So if you're going a couple hundred miles in any direction, it looks like at this point the worst you'll run into is rainfall, and maybe a little bit slower because of that. But we're not looking at a big monster system that will strand you out in the interstate or anything like that. So not great travel conditions on Thanksgiving Day itself, but certainly not as bad as they could be. And of course, we'll have to watch this. If things change and this becomes more snow and colder air seeps in here a little bit faster, it could be an issue. But right now, it's looking like rain mixed with snow on Thanksgiving Day. Then that system pushes off to the east. And we've got some flurries in here on Friday, some more flurries on Saturday, and maybe even a few lingering flurries in the area on Sunday. Take a look at this. Okay. Remember when the Climate Prediction Center was saying warmer than normal, it seemed like forever? Well, things have changed a little bit here. We watched the colder than normal weather develop up to the north and west and work its way south and eastward. Now, from the 28th to the 2nd of December, now this also agrees with our forecast here at Fox 19, you can see we're right near the bullseye of the colder than normal weather around the tri-state. Now, this doesn't mean it's Arctic cold. Doesn't mean like we're going to have high temperatures in the single digits above zero and low temperatures way below zero, but it is chillier than normal by a pretty good bit for this time of year, and we'll look at that in just a few seconds. But overall, colder than normal up through the 2nd of December, and we've kind of been talking about this over the past week, thinking that this is exactly what we thought would be on the way. Okay, so there it is. We're near that bullseye. As we head to their second part of their forecast, you can see that we're still in the coldest part of that colder than normal, but it is shifting off to the east. So by the 6th of December, we should begin a warming trend, but notice colder than normal extends all the way out to the plains. And then by the time we get to December 20th, we are looking at trying to move back into near normal. Now, if you remember, I kept showing you the 3 to 4 week outlook this week. And if you remember, the 3 to 4 week outlook had almost everything in the east warmer than normal. Well, now the 3 to 4 week outlook, which is actually just, it's a week later than that, shifts everything to a bit colder than normal. This is moving off to the north and east, and so as we head toward Christmas Day now, can you believe it? We're already talking about the weather as we head toward Christmas. We're looking at a warming trend. So near normal all the way out into the plains, but it looks like everything's going to shift eastward, and we should find ourselves without any major massive cold air outbreak for the Christmas holiday. So little rain snow mix the way it looks right now on Thanksgiving Day, and we may have to change that a little bit one way or the other. And right now it's looking like temperatures warming to near or a little bit above normal for Christmas Day. A little bit too early to talk about precipitation though. Okay, so let's talk about precipitation. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now their 6 to 10 day outlooks as we're going from slightly above normal to a little bit below normal precipitation by the 2nd of December. We're kind of right in the middle of a lower than normal precipitation zone there through the 6th of December, and then back to normal precipitation through the 20th of December. So we begin to dry out a little bit according to this. I'm not sure I agree with all of this, but I see the reasoning. One of the reasons is if we go colder than normal, that means we're pulling air out of Canada. What do we know about air out of Canada? It doesn't have as much moisture. It's coming from a land source. So over land, there's not as much moisture as there's in the Gulf of Mexico. So it's drier air, and so it's going to have less precipitation. Okay, so that's not any big surprise. Okay, let's go on to the 7-day forecast. Okay, so your 7-day forecast looks like this. We're talking about There we go. We're talking about low temperatures exclusively in the 30s until we get to Black Friday morning when it's in the upper 20s. And there's one day with a 45. And we are looking at temperatures sliding off to below normal by Thanksgiving Day is below normal, Friday's below normal, Wednesday is below normal. I mean, so after we hit that 61, we go to below normal. And we'll look at that in a graph in just a minute. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at beyond the 7-day forecast. And there you see it, those high temperatures stay on the cold side. The 30th and the 1st, we may see flurries in the area. And then we've got a chance of rain and snow for the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Now remember, it said below normal precipitation as we head into the 4th, 5th, and 6th. That doesn't mean no precipitation. It just means not much. And when you see something like this far out, I mean, this is, several days into the month of December. These are all just chances at this point. Okay, it may end, and the reason it's rain or snow is because it depends upon time of day. So we're looking at that chances. And even though the Climate Prediction Center is saying that the precipitation will be lower than normal, that doesn't mean no precipitation at all. So we could see a few sprinkly showers or a few flurries on those precipitation days, but they wouldn't add much to the total. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, now if we go to the 7-day plus, what you can see here is there are the high temperatures, there are the lows, they're going down. Put the normal high line on there and the normal low line, and look at that. From the 26th through the 6th, we have temperatures cooler than normal on the high side, and on the low side, they go below normal for all, but are generally flirting with normal after that. So it all adds up to really kind of an interesting pattern around the tri-state. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what Facebook users are saying. Okay, and you can comment if you're watching this on Facebook. And again, on these streaming weather live broadcast, let me give you the schedule quickly. It's Monday through Friday at 7:15 p.m., Monday through Friday at noon, right up at noon. Saturday we have at 10:15 and 6 p.m., and Sunday at 10:15 and 6 p.m. So weekends 10:15 and 6 p.m. And usually those are done by, usually the weekend evenings are Ethan Emery. The weekend mornings are Ashley Smith, although she will not be in tomorrow. And then I usually do the 7:15, and it's either Ethan, Catherine, or Ashley that that share the noon show. Okay, so let me see what we got here. Susan Wally says, hope you're having a good evening. Yep, I am. It's been a pretty good evening. It's Friday. I'm off for a couple days. What could be better? And I have had a nice day, Susan. Thanks. Hope you did too. And yeah, and I'm here on a Friday night because the way it works, Friday evenings I'm usually off unless we're doing the ratings book, as TV people call it, and we're at the end of the book now. And we're working out a new schedule here, so it's going to be kind of different for a while. And so I'm here on Friday night instead of Ethan. Ethan was out doing live shots today. Okay, Melvin Stone Street says, hi, Steve. It's going to be rain and snow mix next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday, Melvin. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. And so right now it's a rain-snow mix, okay? So some of the models say all snow. Some of the models say all rain. And the model that I use that's usually the most accurate, but not always, says it'll be a rain-snow mix. And if you look at the temperature pattern, that tells us that it's probably looks at this point to be a wet situation, kind of like yesterday, rather than a slick situation. We still have a lot of ground heat. We'll still have a lot of that left, although it'll begin to cool off. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. But right now, it's still a big question mark. Can't pin it down yet because we just don't have that much information that far out. All right. So that's all the comments, only a couple comments today. I hope instead of, you're always welcome to watch this show, but if you've got something else to do, go and enjoy it. When I retire, I was telling everyone, and I might have said this yesterday, I can't remember what things I said, but one of the things I'm looking forward to eventually in retirement, and it may not be till the end of May before I retire, but retirement I'm looking forward to is when I first met my wife in 1989, I was working early mornings. Okay, and then when we got married, and I switched to evenings, and so I've never, except for 4 months when I was in a non-compete and couldn't start working here at Fox 19 yet, I've never had a schedule where my wife and I could just sit down and have a normal dinner together. Weekends accepted, but during the week. Okay. Susan Wally, should she take a white Thanksgiving? Okay, yeah, I would too. And if you remember, Susan, you're the one, you like snow, I like snow, several people like it. Most of you that have to drive through it and deal with it don't, unless you've got a business where you scrape snow, and then it's a good thing because you can make some money. Yeah, I'd take a white Thanksgiving too. I mean, snow at any time is fine with me. I kind of remember when I grew up in Loveland. Now, I don't know how many of you ever go through Loveland, but when I grew up in Loveland, there's only 3,000 people in the entire area. And a lot of woods, a lot of places that are houses now were woods, and a lot of wide open farmers' fields that weren't being used anymore. And so we got into, we were able to do a lot of just tramping around the woods and all that. So that's how I grew up as a kid. It was kind of rural back then. Okay, and Cindy Philbrook Fajardo, and I think, I hope I pronounced that right, Cindy, because I'm assuming it's the Spanish J, so Fajardo, said she loves snow. I'm with you, Cindy. Okay, let me take a quick look here. Okay, I'm going to switch it to full screen here, and we will go back over the forecast for you, in case you just joined us and you missed something that's important to you. Start off with the evening forecast, okay? And then we'll go through all of it, and I will leave it full screen so that it's easier for you to see. So the sun set today at 5:20, so it's been down for 2 hours and 11 minutes, and we are again talking about temperatures not dropping off much, only a degree or so by the time we get to 11 p.m. Overnight, it'll be a little bit cooler than that. Now here is the model that we were looking at. This starts on Monday. Now we have no precipitation in the weekend forecast. I don't know. There sounds like there's a big rowdy party going on down the hall, and this is Friday night at a TV station, so I had to close the door. So we've got scattered showers popping up on Monday. Okay, Monday temperatures make it back into the 60s. So after a dry, cool weekend, 47 for the high Saturday, 56 or so on Sunday. We've got some scattered showers Monday. They become much more widespread as we head through the evening hours, and then they're gone by Tuesday morning. The next precipitation that comes our way would be that rain-snow mix that Melvin mentioned before. And that rain-snow mix, again, this particular model says it'll be a wet, kind of slushy situation like we just had. Some of the models have it a little bit colder, which would make it a little bit better chance of getting some packing snow, but I still think the ground is way too warm. And some of the models have it all rain. So we're just going to have to see how the models and how it plays out. And of course, now you know that there might be some slow going for traffic. We don't expect anything major if you're driving for hundreds of miles in any direction. And we can always modify that. So you have at least the beginning information that you might have to take into account the weather for your holiday travels. Okay, and then through that weekend, we get a few flurries from time to time, and we get colder air. We'll look at that colder air coming up. Speaking of colder air, the Climate Prediction Center's new forecast from today says we are right in the bullseye of colder than normal from the 28th through the 2nd. From the 30th through the 6th, we're still in that coldest of the colder than normal. And then it's finally pulling off to the north and east from December 11th to the 20th, and we're going to head back toward normal, maybe even by the time we get to Christmas, a little bit above normal in the tri-state. Rainfall goes from, well, kind of near to slightly above normal from the 28th to the 2nd, then to below normal. Now, that's not surprising because air that brings the colder than normal weather, like that pattern showed with us near the bullseye, is out of Canada, and that means it's drier air than air that would come out of the south from the Gulf of Mexico. So it's not surprising that they're saying less than normal precipitation. Does not mean no precipitation, does not mean no snow. It just means that there'll be less than normal. And then by the time we get to the 20th, we're about normal when it comes to precipitation. Again, here's the 7-day forecast. 39 and 47 for Saturday, mostly cloudy. Filtered sunshine Sunday, 36 and 56. 45 and 61 with afternoon showers on Monday, so Monday way above normal. Back down to temperatures near or below normal for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. For Thanksgiving, a little bit of rain in the morning, then a mix of rain and snow later in the day as temperatures drop a bit. And Friday, chance of flurries. Those flurries could continue for Saturday and Sunday, the 30th and the 1st, with a few flurries there. Monday the 2nd looks dry. Tuesday the 3rd looks dry, and then the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Each day we could see enough. We could see a little bit of precipitation that would bring us a rain-snow mix. Now, if we want to look at the 7-day plus, it's all the temperatures for the next 14 days. There's the high temperature, normal high temperature line, the normal low temperature line, and you can see that starting on the 26th, we've got 11 days in a row with high temperatures below normal, and we only have 5 days below normal on the low side, but the rest of those days near normal. So kind of cool air coming our way. And I guess the takeaway from this is it stays below normal, precipitation less than normal through this 14-day stretch. That's the average for the entire stretch, and no big winter storms beginning to develop yet, okay? And no big, I call it the deep freeze, no deep freeze kind of pattern which should take us to below zero or anything like that. So, so that's what it looks like for the next 14 days. Let me take a quick check one more time at Facebook. And Susan says, have a great weekend. Thanks, Susan, and everybody watching. Have yourself a great weekend. That is it for now, and I'll see you on Monday.